a Prime Minister nomination, visa on arrival, a flood update, and a cat debate. That's coming up in Good Morning Thailand on the Thaiger. Hello and welcome to Good Morning Thailand. It is another rainy Wednesday. I'm Jay, and joining me is Tim Newton.
Hello.
Hello, Tim. Right.
Did you get that from Seinfeld?
I did not. So there was a comment that said it got it from Seinfeld.
I've never heard Seinfeld go, hello.
I've actually never watched Seinfeld. I've watched Friends, but Seinfeld was a bit before my time.
Might be a bit intellectual for you.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, possibly. Right. I've heard it's very good, though. However...
Before you sort of get stuck into things, yes. I just want to say, globally, there's sort of a big story around at the moment I think everybody just needs to have a good look at. It's we're calling it the Evergrande story. This is the 300 billion losses in a huge real estate company in China.
Okay.
There has been another one of these huge multi-property owners called Fantasia that has just defaulted on a payment. So it looks like there's a bit of a house of cards happening in the Chinese property market at the moment. Right. Will we all catch cold from this particular virus in China at the moment? I'm saying yes, I think we probably will. So keep an eye on that story.
Let's get into our first story for today.
But we are not financial advisors, by the way.
Yes, we are not financial advisors, if you hadn't guessed that already. Okay, let's start off today first by thanking BYD Loves.
Oh!
We've been here all week, plus 2 days.
And we're here until Friday.
That's right. We are at the beautiful BYD Lofts in Patong, and you can be here too. If you're in Phuket, you can come visit us and say hello, like a lot of people have. Robert.
A lot of people.
Yeah, they popped in to say hello. So if you are nearby, come in and say hello. Or if you're looking to travel to Thailand, you can actually visit www.bydlofts.com and type in the code The Thaiger for a 10% discount on your stay. As well, I was informed, you can also visit the restaurant here, whether you're in Phuket or as a tourist, and you'll get 10% discount on your food and beverage as well.
Wow. And I think if you stay here and you use that promotional code, they'll pick you up at the airport.
They will.
That's worth 1,000 baht in itself.
Yeah, so check them out, BYD Love. Let's get into our first topic for today, which is the Prime Minister. Now, yes. The current Prime Minister has actually been possibly, not confirmed yet, but will possibly be nominated as the next Prime Minister. Is that even possible?
Well, okay, so reading through the code on this one, and the story is that the Palang Pracharath Party, which is the leading coalition partner, has the most votes in the lower house of the Thai Parliament, have sort of blessed the current Prime Minister, saying that they will probably nominate him as their Prime Ministerial candidate running into the next election. This is what happens in Thailand, where a party says this is our preferred Prime Ministerial candidate. And if they get 51% of the vote, then that person would then become the Prime Minister. If no party gets 51% of the vote, what happens is then it's all open for a coalition, or including the Senate, to then decide on who they want to be the Prime Minister, and anybody can be nominated. That's how the current Prime Minister became the Prime Minister in 2019 after the general election. The current Prime Minister, Prayut, never stood for as an MP. He's never been voted for by any Thai citizens, but here he is as the Thai Prime Minister. So there is a rule.
Okay.
That the Constitution, the current Constitution, bars anyone from serving as the Premier, the Prime Minister of Thailand, for more than 2 4-year terms. So the opposition are saying, well, he's been the Prime Minister since 2014 when the coup happened. But the Palang Pracharath Party going, no. He was only the Prime Minister from 2019 after the general election. Then there are others saying, no, he was the Prime Minister after the army, who instituted the coup in 2014, promulgated a new constitution in 2017. So depending on who you speak to, depending on the interpretation, the Prime Minister could have been Prime Minister from 2014, 2017 or 2019. If you read through all the code, I think what it's saying is that the Palang Pracharath Party want to put Prayut Chan-o-cha up as their Prime Ministerial candidate, and they're basically telling everybody that he's going to be around for a long time.
Right.
That's the code.
That is the code. So stay tuned for that on thethaiger.com for more updates. We're going to take a quick short break, and once we come back, we're going to be talking about the visa on arrival, now available for Phuket Sandbox.
Sort of.
Soon. Yeah, sort of.
Sort of.
It's a bit complicated, as usual, but we'll explain to you. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand with me, Jay, and Tim. Tim, it's now time to talk about the visa on arrival. But before we actually get into that, just give me a quick second to shout out Coffee Culture.
Yes.
Coffee Culture, thank you for providing us with these beautiful mugs and coffee every morning. You can find your roast of organic, Arabica, Robusta, Organica. Organica, that
I love all that
organic
coffee.
Organic coffee. You can find on www.coffeeculture.asia. They deliver all across Thailand as well as overseas. And if you type in the code the Thaiger, or actually click the link in the description below, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. And you get these beautiful bags in which they have a keyhole behind, and you can actually smell the coffee.
I love that.
Yeah. So visit coffeeculture.asia.
I'm a coffee sniffer.
Right, whatever that means. Moving on, the Phuket Sandbox will now allow tourists to apply for visa on arrival.
So this is like the old days where some countries could just arrive on an aeroplane and march up to immigration, and they'd give them a visa on arrival.
Yes.
So now they're saying that you can still do this, but you've still got to do the certificate of entry.
Right.
Can you please explain, Jay?
Right. Have a look at this graphic. This is taken from the official Phuket Information Center, and what it basically says is that you can apply for a COE. However, you'll be able to choose visa exemption when applying for the COE. So you can apply for the COE, you fly to Thailand, the visa application will be 2,000 baht, and then you need to show proof that you have 10,000 baht in your bank account, and then you'll be eligible for a visa on arrival.
It doesn't sort of make sense to me. So you can have a visa on arrival as long as you apply for the visa before you arrive.
Well, it's not necessarily applying for the visa. It's just you apply for the COE, and in the COE you can say that, okay, exempt visa. So that's one less thing to worry about, I'm guessing. And then once you arrive, you can apply for the visa on arrival. I don't know why anyone would do that, because if you're going to go through the hassle of applying for a COE, why would you not just get the visa done as well from at the local embassy?
So yeah, I think the code of all this is please contact your embassy before you come to Thailand.
Yes.
Because you don't want any surprises to ruin your holiday.
Again, this is not officially confirmed on the Royal Gazette, or however, this is coming from a reliable source.
I think it needs to be officially explained before it can be officially confirmed.
Exactly. So more information on that on thethaiger.com.
The bottom line of all this is that the whole arrival situation is slowly changing and being modified in a positive way. The restrictions are being reduced, so we're heading in the right direction, but there might be a few confusions like this along the way.
Yep, right. Moving on to our next topic. Now, last week we told you that we reminded you that there are floods in Thailand currently in certain provinces and certain places in Thailand, and they were making their way to Bangkok, and the authorities went out and said there's no need to worry, the dams are only half full, we can maintain this, no one needs to panic, people are on alert. However, we have a flood update, and now people have to be on alert. Why is that?
Bangkok?
In Bangkok, yes.
If you're in a low-lying area near the Chao Phraya River, they're saying that there are some floodwaters that are eventually reaching the city. It seems to have been a long, long time to make their way from central Thailand down to Bangkok.
Well,
a bus is faster. Really. So, but now it's arrived in Bangkok, and if you are in a low-lying area, you may just need to put on your gumboots.
Right. I have a quote here from Bangkok Governor Police General Aswin Kwanmueang, who says the water is now heading for Bangkok, which could see water levels in the Chao Phraya River rise up to a further 30 centimeters to half a meter when coupled with the impact of a high tide. Now, I guess he's warning about how high it can be half a meter. I mean, that's quite significant. Half a meter of flooding?
Well, half a metre above what they're calling the high tide.
Yeah.
Apparently also that the floodwaters coming down from central Thailand are matching a high tide in the Gulf of Thailand. So the two may merge to produce some unprecedented higher water. But I don't think this is going to be a problem throughout Bangkok, but just low-lying areas. So if you are living right next to the river, just keep an eye out.
Yeah, and they've been told to be vigilant and stay on alert, and I don't exactly know what that means. Are you supposed to just look out your window and be on alert if, it's reached a dangerous level, Tim, we need to run away right now?
Jay, you'll know if you've got water coming into your house.
No,
you will know.
That's my point. Shouldn't authorities be like, hey, it's going to flood, maybe you should evacuate, rather than just saying, Tim, it might flood, be vigilant?
Well, I think the expectation is that it's still a warning. It's not guaranteed to happen.
Yes. But then they're scaring the people anyway, so...
Well, they're making them alert. Be alert, but be aware, but not afraid.
Okay. Be alert, but not afraid.
Yesterday we spoke about the molnupiravir tablet. This is from the company Merck, who are developing an antiviral tablet that you would be able to take as another alternative treatment for COVID-19. Now, we probably didn't make it clear that this drug is not an alternative to the vaccine. This is something that the doctors or hospitals would prescribe if you had symptoms of COVID-19, be they mild or more severe. So it's basically trying to avoid severe hospitalizations or even worse. And it probably won't count on people's vaccine passports, or not probably, it won't, because it's not a vaccine.
Yes.
So it's not a replacement for the vaccine, and we've been asked to make that clear. So hopefully we have. Merck are one of 4 companies currently developing an antiviral drug that will be able to help treat mild or more severe cases of COVID-19, and they're currently, in Merck's case, in phase 3 trials.
Right. We're going to take a quick break, and after we come back from the break, we're going to talk about media freedom and the much-awaited cat debate. That's right. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand. Tim, it's now time to talk about media freedom and our right to freedom of speech.
Well, yesterday there was a webinar conducted by the Public Media Alliance, and surprise, surprise, they came up with the decision that some of the freedom of speech has been reduced around the Southeast Asian region during the pandemic. Now, a lot of this has come from government saying, media, you're just going to have to be careful what you're publishing at the moment because we don't want to scare the people. Make sure you publish our facts and don't just make up news because we'll call that fake news and we'll close you down.
Right.
So there's been a little bit of that. Certainly in Thailand, they've used the Computer Crimes Act and they've used this broad terminology of fake news to decry anything that doesn't necessarily follow their narrative. Has the media sort of been closed down? No, but I think everybody is just being more careful about what they're publishing during this pandemic. So we're going to get the haters of the mainstream media going, this is good, close down the mainstream media, they're telling lies. But, well, then who do you want to be controlling the narrative? Are you happy with the governments doing that? So I think the context of this particular meeting or the webinar conducted yesterday was that we need to be aware of governments putting extra controls on the media. But my gut feeling is generally, certainly here in Thailand, that the media still has a lot of freedom of speech, and there's been very few cases of media outlets in this country being warned. We've got the Bangkok Post, who favour the government. We've got the Khalsod, who favour the protesters and some of the opposition forces. But generally, I think the media here in Thailand has been fairly responsible during COVID-19.
Okay, right. Let's move on to our last topic of today, which is the great cat debate. Now, what we mean by the great cat debate is, Tim, you have six-month-old kitten.
Okay,
is it still a kitten after 6 months?
So she's 6 or 7 months old. We're not exactly sure because we found her on the street when she was about this big, and now she's about this big. And we took her down. We've been to the vet 3 or 4 times. She's had her vaccinations, and we keep on saying, well, when can she be neutered? And they said, oh, wait another month, or wait another month. So we've done that 3 times. So we went down yesterday and said, okay, we think it's time for her to be neutered. And they did an ultrasound, and she was pregnant.
Oh, okay.
So we said, well, can you abort the pregnancy because we don't want to have more kittens? And they said, no, we will not abort the pregnancy.
And what reason did they give you?
Well, they
On
sort of
religious
basic
grounds.
ethical grounds, religious grounds, saying that Buddhists believe in life. Now, of course, Thailand has a problem with stray dogs and stray cats, a situation which is countered by organisations like the Soy Dog Foundation, which operate not only in Phuket but around Thailand now and do a lot of real help in capturing, neutering, rehabilitating and then rehousing a lot of stray dogs and stray cats. So I thought the answer from the vet was actually quite irresponsible, given that, you'd call it a first trimester if you were talking in human terms. She's less than 20 days into in cats it's usually about a 65-day pregnancy.
Okay.
Now I know it's a really sensitive issue when you talk about abortion, but now we're in a situation where we're probably going to have to take this cat through its pregnancy, and then we're going to have kittens, and we're going to have to cope with these kittens, and hopefully we can rehouse them. So interested to know what you think about the vet's decision. Is it irresponsible or is it compassionate? What do you think?
This is a strange topic for me. I grew up in a family with no pets. I've never actually had my own pet growing up. My sister was always allergic to fur, so we couldn't have any sort of cats or dogs at home. So I don't have a personal attachment when it comes to pets or animals in general. I mean, of course, I'm compassionate towards them. I would never harm them or anything. But I see your point in you will now possibly have another 4 cats, which you will need to take care of. You'll need to feed them and, take them to hospital.
Before we give one to you, one to Jason, one to Golf.
Yeah, before I'm being forced to take a kitten from you. So, there's a lot of added costs, there's a lot of added time, and you're right, these cats need to be taken care of. But what do we do for people who can't afford to have that many kittens? And that's why we have so many stray kittens, because that's possibly what people do. Out of desperation, they can't take care of these cats and they've got to, let them go or send them to places like Soy Dog Foundation.
Yeah, good old temples. Take them to the temples.
I guess. So you're right. It is a debate between, is it responsible to, allow abortions for cats?
Well, they allow abortions for women for the first trimester in Thailand, so I'm not sure why you can't apply that to cats as well, or to any other animals that vets are taking care of. So an interesting situation. I was a bit taken aback by the vet's response yesterday. So we'll keep you informed, and it looks like we're going to be doing a bit of a vlog about Dina and her impending mothering of these kittens. We don't know how many kittens there are.
Right.
She's only 7 months old. I mean, she's such a little cat. So we're going to have to watch her carefully. And apparently the first litter of a young cat might only be 1 or 2 kittens anyway. Praying that's the case.
Right. Anyways, so that's all the news and topics from across Thailand today. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, please click like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you once again to BYD Lofts and Coffee Culture for sponsoring the show. Thank you, Tim.
My pleasure.
And thank you, Jason, behind / in front of the buttons. Golf doing social media behind the scenes. And we'll see you tomorrow on Thursday.